Titanomachi 2. Zeus, Poseidon and Hades have made it back, albeit with difficulty. The Grey Knight Paladins left after dealing with the dragon camp, not bothering to explain anything to the three brothers. If anything, they were bothered to be there. They killed the monster with practiced ease and then cut apart the chains holding the Cyclops and Hecatoncheires prisoner. Then, they dipped, teleporting out of Tartarus unbothered by the fact that it was strictly not the same reality or dimension as Earth. It wasn't even in the sphere of gods in a way. But they didn't care and just left. After Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades returned through Tartarus and then the underworld, they presented themselves to their supporters in shame. It hit Zeus the hardest to be shamed to such a degree. He felt as if, for the first time in his immortal life, he had failed at achieving something he truly wanted to achieve. That was unusual for him, as he always had that feeling that everything would turn out all right for him. He would make it somehow, no matter how unlikely it may seem. But he failed and was beaten terribly by camp. And then he was forced into signing a contract he didn't want to because of it. But he didn't say anything, not even to Métis, who looked at him worriedly. His pride didn't allow it. What happened? She asks. We made it, Poseidon says. The Cyclops and Hecatoncheires are now free and can hopefully get to creating our weapons soon. But why do you look so bad? Did you have a hard fight? Demeter asks. We fought, sure, a monster, by the name of Camp. Almost killed us all, Hades says. What? That's terrible, are you feeling alright? Hestia asks. What happened, Zeus? Did you encounter something? Tell us, Métis urges her lover to tell her. Before the embarrassed man can say anything, a red-orange portal appears in front of them. Everyone looks surprised and gets into a fighting position, ready for anything that could come out of there. Naturally, they believe it to be Titans or their soldiers. But what walks out of the portal is someone else, someone they wouldn't have expected. A large man walks out of the portal, wearing golden armor, holding a guardian spear in his hand and looking around. After a moment, a normal-sized man walks through the portal, followed by a small company of sentinel guards. Who's that? The normal human walks forward and bows politely in front of everyone. Greetings, Olympians. My name is Wilk Cadiel of the Logis Strategos, a department of the Administratum. I have been honored by the Emperor to speak in his name and gather intelligence on your plans, so that our respective attack forces won't hinder each other. The Logis Strategos is an imperial intelligence and analysis agency, a department of the Administratum. It is noted for analyzing the various threats facing the Imperium and devising suitable strategies to face them. In this case, Wilk Cadiel has lied to them as he is not only here to plan, but to assess the situation in the Olympian war host and asses their threat and danger to the Imperium's future plans. The Emperor hasn't told Wilk Cadiel much, but he hasn't dared to ask anything anyway. This Emperor of mankind is different from the last, and he will not allow politics to ruin what he will build. Apart from the Custodes and the forces he will create, no other faction will ever gain much power. He will take control of everything and place trusted people in positions of power. He will use all his power to remove the filth and prevent it from taking root. What is this? Poseidon remarks. They send a mortal worm to talk to us. Hera asks with a raised eyebrow. Also, who is this emperor you speak of? Métis walks forward, noting the seriousness of the situation. She is the goddess of wisdom and has noted that no magic was used in the portal through which these men arrived. The mortal man is also not scared of them, and the golden warriors, whom she knows are warriors because she feels their threat, are standing there as if they don't fear them, and that worries Métis. Greetings, Wilk Cadiel of the Logis Strategos. My name is Métis. I don't have the authority to decide for all those present, as that falls to the 6 Olympian siblings, but I may discuss strategy with you. First off, who is this emperor you spoke of and what are his intentions? She asks. Well met, Métis. The emperor is the leader and creator of the Imperium of mankind. I believe the Olympians should know him. He is their brother after all, Wilk answers. Brother? You mean, so, brother sends you? Hestia asks excitedly. Indeed. That arrogant piece of. Before Poseidon can finish that sentence, the power blade of several guardian spears is at his throat, and multiple bolters are aimed at him. The air changed from one moment to the next, and Poseidon feels that he is closer to death than he was when facing camp. He wants to get angry, but fear has taken its place instead. But Zeus hasn't gotten over his wounded pride yet, and he is unhappy seeing this. He is the god of lightning and, therefore, the fastest among his siblings. With an angry roar, he charges forward, coated in lightning and punches the first sentinel guard he sees. Bong! His fist hits the Praesidium shield instead of the helmet, which Zeus was actually targeting. He feels the resistance of the shield as it didn't break. And for good reason. All members of the Adeptus Custodes are incorruptible by anything or anyone. So they are the faction Neoth trusts the most. It doesn't mean that he doesn't trust the other factions, but they hold a special place. And as such, their armory was reforged by the Emperor himself. A fact that fills the Custodes with immeasurable joy and pride. The gold is not just for show, their armor, weapons and shields are made of 8th metal and connected to the Sage Force through their connection to Neoth. It was at this moment that Métis understood that Zeus fucked up. Suddenly shit hits the fan. The Sentinel guards take Wilt Cadiel back, while the shield captain orders his men telepathically through their helmets and organizes everything. The Sentinel guard that blocked Zeus' attack swings his Sentinel blade through the air, cutting off the god's arm. Shing. Asterisk boom. AAAARRRGHHH. Bolters are fired, coming from the guardian spear of the shield captain. Hades, who has recovered somewhat, tries to help and summons the dead as support. But before they can do anything, they are shot down, and he is wounded by the powerful bolters the Custodes use. Métis tries to calm everyone down, but no one even hears her voice. Poseidon is cut in two, as he moves a single muscle, taking him out of the fight before he can truly do anything. Once again, his performance is horrendous. Asterisk VROOOM. Asterisk BOOOM. The power swords and bolters fly through the air, cutting off limbs and killing the Olympian faction quickly. Hera is in shock. Her demeanor has changed from arrogance to fear and confusion. She tries to block an attack as it comes towards her, but there has never been a sadder death of an Olympian. She is one of the most useless original Olympians and yet one of the most arrogant. Her death passed with a pathetic wail, fitting her character. No. What? Demeter shouts as the plants she creates are destroyed and cut apart. She has such a strong connection to crops and plants, and it pains her to feel the death. Even more than her own death, which she doesn't even register fully. 2 sentinel blades cut through her body. One severs her head from her shoulders, and another diagonally through the rest of her body. The different pieces fall to the ground, her ichor raining on the plants she loves so much. No. Hestia shouts in pain as she feels her siblings perish before her very eyes. She summons fire through her divinity and tries to stop the golden deaths from going further. But without luck, her fire doesn't face them. Custodians must pass a new trial, created by Neoth, if they want to be ready for active duty. The Emperor has transformed a massive room on the Phalanx into a testing ground for battle simulation. Simulation might be the official word, but it's a real battle. If the Custodians want to pass, they have to defeat a single burning Martian. They are allowed to use only one type of power weapon. And it's not allowed to be an age of technology weapon either. The fire, Hestia, can create passes over the Custodes, and they attack her. Her tears and cries do not deter them. Why? Those are her last words as her body explodes into several pieces by bolter fire. Hades is the next to fall, as Custodes swarm him. A bolt penetrates his left eye and explodes half of his face off. The god of the underworld tumbles and is put out of his misery a second later. Rhea, the goddess of motherhood, and Themis, the goddess of justice, order and law, are 2 of the 3 remaining ones facing the Custodes. Rhea attempts to utilize her power over emotional bonds to influence the warriors, but it proves ineffective. They have only 2 bonds, one to their emperor and a second one to their brothers. And none of those could ever be affected. Boom boom. Themis, however, is different. Her divinity over law and order is a powerful tool which the Titaness knows how to use. She creates an order that doesn't allow the use of weapons. No more weapons. She shouts. Click click. Vrew. The Custodes look at their weapons for a second and then at the Titaness. The shield captain notes what just happened and then sends out a telepathic message to the others. No more violin. Themis is interrupted before she can say another word. Asterisk BAMM. A fist impacts her jaw and sends her flying. She takes her weapon and turns midair, slashing forward, trying to kill the sentinel guard. But her hand is grabbed by the shield captain himself, who clenches his fist and breaks her hand. Crack. Arg. Themis bites her jaw and breathes through the pain, using her power of order again and trying to create a new one. No more of you. She shouts and uses all the power she has. She creates a new law that doesn't allow the existence of the Custodes as they are currently present. But other than a slight shimmer, nothing happens. The shield captain's fist smashes into Themis' face. Pathetic. Asterisk BAMM. The Emperor has created us. Boom. Only he gets to decide our fate. Bang. Not the likes of you, the shield captain finishes. He grabs the broken and beaten Themis' head and rips it off, pulling along her vertebrae. Then he taps her a few times with his bolter to make sure she's truly dead. Zeus feels the bolt penetrate his shoulder, and then right after, the pain as it explodes and rips off his other arm. He summons lightning, firing it at the custodes, but it's useless. A sentinel blade pierces him from the side and then from the front. To top it off, another custodian aims his bolter in front of his face, and pulls the trigger. *BOOOOM. Wilk Cadiel looks around what remains of the carnage and doesn't say anything. He was sent to handle the first meeting and planning with the Olympians. He was given mostly carte blanche on how he handled it. And yet, the man can't feel a bit disappointed in how everything turned out. What will he tell his liege now? He feels that he failed somewhat. The custodes aren't to blame, heavens no. Their job was to protect him, and that's what they did. But their primary objective is to protect the emperor with their lives. If someone spoke against him like that, what were they supposed to do? They didn't even attack first and only warned Poseidon. That's already a great show of restraint on their part. We're leaving, the shield captain commands, and Cadiel nods his head. The portal appears, and they walk through to the phalanx. Wilk Cadiel takes a few samples of the bloody pieces of the Olympians and then follows along. He makes his way to the laboratories and hands it over, making his way to the throne room, where Neoth is already waiting for his report. The large door opens, and Wilk Cadiel walks in, kneeling in front of the emperor. I hear your mission hasn't gone as you would have liked, Cadiel. Neoth's voice is calm and deep. Indeed, my emperor. But I wouldn't say that it hasn't gone to your prediction. The arrogance you predicted has indeed come to pass and has cost them their lives. I will take all the blame for this outcome, Cadiel says. Neoth feels that the man truly means those words. He prefers competence instead of empty words uttered to curry favor. And Cadiel is capable and honest. Neoth is silent for a moment and thinks. His face doesn't betray anything, but Cadiel wouldn't know anyway, he isn't looking. It seems that we will have to solve this war ourselves, Neoth says. Constantine, contact the legions. We're going to war. Blank. Believe it or not, this chapter wasn't supposed to end this way. It just happened. I wrote the words of Poseidon and then paused. Then I shrugged, and the rest is history. It fits the setting and Neoth's character. Tell me what you think, please. 48 comments 0 vote. Titanomachi 3. Neoth sits on his obsidian throne with his eyes closed, clad in his golden war gear. He thinks about the current situation and what happened. He feels that his soldiers and the various custodes legions are preparing for the final part of this war. The Heteran Guard, the elite inner circle of the custodes, stand impassive but attentive, both seen and hidden, in the throne room. The Heteran Guard forms the personal guard of the emperor and frequently acts as his aides and confidants. They would leave his side only in the most dire of circumstances. Suddenly, he feels something and opens his eyes, looking forward. A being stands in front of him, with a gray robe that hides his blind eyes. He holds a thick book in his hands, which is chained to his right wrist. Despite the amount of light inside the throne room and Neoth's power, the man doesn't cast a shadow, nor do his steps make a sound or leave prints. Neoth observes the being, the child of time and the night themselves, one of the 7 siblings. Destiny of the Endless, welcome to the Phalanx. Neoth, son of the Titans Cronus and Rhea, 7th sibling of the Olympians, an existence that should not have been and yet is. Destiny's voice is calm, detached, and somber, not allowing anyone, save perhaps his siblings, to tell what he is thinking. But Neoth knows what this is about. He thought this meeting might happen sooner or later, especially after what happened just now. It was inevitable that you arrive here. What can I help you with? Neoth asks in his equally calm and deep voice. You, Neoth, God Emperor, are not in the book, Destiny says. He raises the tome he carries, the Book of Souls, chained on his right wrist. As Destiny raises it, it opens on its own and flutters violently. The pages start turning themselves in a random fashion. Some turn blank and then rewrite themselves in golden ink that moves backwards. Others remain blank pages where Neoth appears, and then some get damaged and fall out. Your presence is impossibly invisible to the Book of Souls. You unmake stories before they occur, you walk paths I do not know. That is not meant to be. You are jeopardizing the time-space continuum, Destiny says. I see, Neoth answers in thought. Your actions broke the symmetry. You weren't meant to exist, and yet you do. Your siblings were meant to win this war, to defeat the Titans. But you killed them. Their death has caused a series of events that shouldn't happen. Fixed points are no longer fixed. My custodes killed the Olympians. The arrogance of a lightning bolt caused their downfall, not me, Neoth states. You speak half-truths. Your warriors are not capable of killing the gods, even with the armory you created. You have fueled them during the fight. It was your actions, Destiny responds. But arrogance, nonetheless. They aren't permanently dead. That wouldn't have been possible either way, Neoth says. Indeed, even in death, they still exist. Their myths endure, somewhat. And the myth never dies as long as it is remembered. But this may change it. This may change everything. I no longer see it and can't trust myself. Destiny extends the book forward, holding it in front of him. The chain resists momentarily. For the first time in eternity, Destiny hesitates. Uncertain about his plan, about his step. Then, with a cracking sound, Destiny breaks the chain. A fire surrounds the Book of Souls as it floats towards Neoth. The custodes don't move, simply because they can't. The arrival of Destiny is something that surpasses their minds, and they can't form a single thought. Neoth is special in that regard, since despite not being in the same category of power as an endless, not even close, his boundless will and incalculable potential of thought allow him to cope. Neoth stands up and takes the Book of Souls into his hand. He observes it for a few moments and then looks at Destiny again. But Destiny of the Endless has disappeared already. Neoth sits back down on his throne and thinks about it. He opens the book and starts to read. The Book of Souls, also known as the Cosmic Log or the Book of Destiny, is the book where everything that is and ever will be is written. It was crafted from the hide of a beast that has never existed. Although the identity of its maker is unknown, Time was the original owner of the Book of Souls. He later gave it to his son, Destiny. Destiny has been its guardian and only reader since the dawn of time. Although the book can be read by whoever truly so desires, skimming over its pages is a mind-straining action. Roulette was severely affected. Supergirl remained dazed for a while and quickly forgot what she had read, and Adam Strange felt even more fatalistic. For Neoth, however, this is no problem. He starts to go over the pages, interested in reading what happened and what might or will happen. As he approaches the Greek Pantheon section, he sees the words start to smear and shoot across the pages. He is not listed in the book. Not a single word or image mentions him. Neoth sits on his throne and flips through the pages. He goes forward and sees an interesting fact depicted in the book. Fittingly, a shimmer descends on the room and on all of the phalanx. Neoth looks up and sees reality fold like a parchment. Through this, two people arrive, two entities. One man, pale with flowing thick hair, which defies gravity. The second, a woman with long black hair and a gentle smile that could end lives. Dream of the Endless and his sister, Death of the Endless. Is this a family gathering? Neoth's voice is calm and deep, as it always has been. He doesn't stand up and looks at the two siblings. Right after meeting Destiny, these two show up. It seems that he upset quite a few beings. Seems like Destiny was here already, Death says. The siblings look at the Book of Souls in Neoth's hands. Dream looks at Neoth again with the same apathetic look as before. You killed Zeus, Dream says. Indeed, Dream, unlike his elder brother Destiny, does cast a shadow, and his seems to elongate without end. One can see stars, nebulae, galaxies, and even swirling universes inside it. Anything one can dream of, Dream literally represents all of it. But this is more personal. Dream is here for a reason. She's dead, before we could even meet, dead. Did you also read in this book then? Neoth asks, holding up the Book of Souls. Do you think we need the Book of Souls to know such things? Death asks. Do you? Neoth asks. Perhaps, perhaps not, she answers with a smile. This is a useless discussion and a waste of my time, Neoth says and looks at Dream, who is the one with a goal for coming here. You killed her, Dream says again. I believe you are talking about Calliope, Neoth says and closes the book. So you know, through Zeus' death, Calliope died. Her existence collapsed like a dream after waking up. She was to be my beloved, Dream says. She would have lived in his shadow. I removed the obstacle. Not exactly comforting that, Death says, almost amused. You wish to have her back, Neoth says. I do. Then I see no problem. You are aware that they are not gone for good. They can't die just like this, Neoth remarks. Quote. You will bring them back? Dream asks. They would return on their own either way. But not for a while, and I can't dream of a future without love. Love hasn't died. On the contrary, Uranus's testicles still walk the earth, Neoth tells him. The dreaming mourns. I will observe your progress, sleepless one. Dream disappears like mist, leaving Death the last remaining endless in the phalanx. You knew this might happen, don't you? Death asks him. It was a possibility. You really are a paradox, Neoth. You can't die, you can't be seen or predicted by the Book of Souls, and now you want to take the reformation and resurrection of Greek myth itself into your own hands and fix the weave of time and fate. Quite ambitious, wouldn't you say? She smiles. Wouldn't you? Maybe. I have seen many things come to an end and begin again. I will see the end, Neoth. I will see the end of my siblings and even Destiny, but you. You're something else entirely, Death says, dropping her smile into something contemplative. Does that frighten you? Hee. No, but I'm interested, and that's even rarer. What is it you seek? Death of the Endless. Neoth says after a brief pause. Tell me something, Neoth. Are you trying to fix what you broke, or is this simply your way of justifying it? Was this your way of pushing your will? I sniffed out the lightning bolt to have the sun come out. The irony is that if it were the other way around, no one would bother, simply because it was meant to happen. But I can't for what is meant. Olympus is not eternal. It would have been a failing idea stitched together with adultery and incompetence, Neoth speaks in a measured voice. And yet you want the Olympians to be reborn. Otherwise, you would have used the void wind or already created the tear of extinction, I'm certain. What is a god king without a kingdom of gods he rules? I am not going to deal with the arrogance of the few by punishing the innocents who have the misfortune to come after them. Interesting. Keep the idea and shed the ego, Death deduces. Calliope's death wasn't simply grief for your brother, but the end of potential. No sense in doing that, Neoth finishes. Oh ho, and people think of me as cold. But you're colder. I suppose that's what might make you terrifying. The restraint, pride you have, naturally, but not born out of status or birthright, how peculiar. Neoth stands up, leaving the Book of Souls on the throne as he does so. He doesn't need to read more of it to know what will happen now. And what he wanted to know, he already knows. It is time for him to write his own chapter. I thought I'd be the one to unsettle you, Death says. Or at least one of my brothers. But I suppose you haven't met destruction, despair or delirium yet. You still might, Neoth answers. Ha, don't tempt me, she laughs. Her figure starts to fade. We'll meet again, Neoth. That is if you're interested in meeting again. An existence as lonely as ours ought to have company, wouldn't you say? If a man knows more than others, he becomes lonely. It's natural and nothing to worry about. But should you choose to visit, I'd welcome you, Neoth says and starts to walk out of the throne room. I'll see you around, God Emperor. The 3 Custodes legions who will march towards Mount Othrys stand ready. This will be the 4th, the 9th and the 10th Custodes legions. The 2nd Custodes legion under their Custodes Primarch, Desh, will take sword-class frigates and attack the seaside and deal with the potential arrival of Oceanus. Escorts, also known as frigates or destroyers, are combat space vessels. They are the smallest craft in use but come in the most significant numbers, providing support in the defense of larger ships. The Imperium didn't have enough time to build bigger spaceships yet, but this will do. The most common duties of escort-class vessels are patrol, reconnaissance, convoy protection, raiding, and picketing. All of the Imperium's technology, under the use of the Custodes and the Grey Knights, has been enhanced through the use of the Sage Force and retains a spark of Neoth's power within it. Using it will allow them to contend and fight the Titans and their armies. Accompanying the ground force will be the First Brotherhood of the Grey Knights. Why only one? Because that's all there is for now. The bulk of a Grey Knights chapter is organized into brotherhoods, fighting formations roughly equivalent to a Space Marine company and consisting of around 100 battle brothers. Grand Master Ignatius, who is also the current Supreme Grand Master of the Grey Knights, leads the First Brotherhood. Picture. Apart from the 3 paladins, there is one new addition. Neoth approaches the man wearing Aegis armor and a psychic hood. He has a wrist-mounted psycannon on his left arm and a Nemesis Force sword in his right hand. He is ready for what is to come, or so he believes. The first Grey Knight's librarian and the first man, Neoth, introduced the Psyker potential. He can remove this blessing any time he chooses, but this war will serve as a testing ground for him to make sure it wasn't wasted. 15 comments 0 vote.